Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So this video is going to be just like a discussion video because yesterday we had some mental price action. This is Ethereum. We've been talking about ETH on the newsletter and the YouTube. Said, look, I think ETH's going to go up. Yesterday, ETH went up 22%. And since literally yesterday, it's up 32%, another 9% so far today. And I want to address this and what this might mean for crypto in general. And it's not just ETH. Like, let's put this out there. Most alts have pushed significantly. Bitcoin dominance has taken the shit that we've been talking about. And is it time? Like, is it time for alt season? That's what we've been discussing for a while on this channel. In my newsletter, you can every single one of my newsletters for probably like the last like 3-4 weeks, and every YouTube for the last few days, weeks, whatever. We've discussed this. We've discussed this exact area here. And this is what I'm going to just sit and talk to you about today. Where the opportunity is and what might be happening. Between 65% and 74%. So what we've been discussing is this is the area for alt season. And is it now? That's the secondary question. We don't know yet if it's now. We need more price action to develop. But that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So on one side of the coin, when was the last time we saw a 20% ETH candle on the daily? And I've not researched this. I've just came on to discuss exactly where my thoughts are today. Realistically, probably like this area. I don't even know whether that's 20% here, but it probably is. Let's have a look. Excuse me, 30% there. And maybe one in here, potentially. I don't know if we definitely got one in here or not, but let's have a look. No, they're much smaller, 8%. But my point here is, and the thing that I want to discuss with you guys is, it's either everything we've been talking about. Right, let me try and get my thoughts together. Bitcoin's hit the liquidity that we've talked about, 104. And what I said could happen at 104 is the most likely area, in my opinion, for chopping around and or a small correction. We've taken the liquidity to the upside. I've said we were going to do that. The thing that I say to you guys often is it's a self-reinforcing cycle. It's reflexive. As soon as you start to take liquidity, you squeeze price higher because shorts get squeezed out, which pushes you into the next pool of liquidity, and more people try and short, but at the same time people are spot buying and trying to catch the rally and thinking they've missed out. And that's the self-reflexive and self-reinforcing cycle that squeezes you up to the next bit of liquidity, squeezes you up to the next, squeezes you up to the next, like a vortex. This is what I tell you, isn't it? So I've literally said this to you guys. But on the daily and the 4-hourly, we actually have much more liquidity above us. So let's just look at the daily and the 4-hourly. On the daily and the 4-hourly, we've got these deep pools of liquidity all the way up to like 127. And what I literally said yesterday is, when we get to this pool, when we start to break into this pool, this is where XRP went really wild. Let's have a look at the weekly insight because I literally talked about this on the weekly insight. So let's just get that load in there. What I talked about is this. This is what I said in the newsletter last week. When Bitcoin breaks through into this pool of liquidity, in the 28-day period, XRP surged. In the 27-day, 28-day period, XRP surged. Did I even put the percentage down here? Maybe not. I wrote about it though. XRP surged 470% in a 28-day period when Bitcoin broke into these pools of liquidity. So this is why I think that there could be chopping here. Basically, what I've been saying is, when we hit these pools of liquidity, that's almost when, for me, it's confirmed that alts are going to go. That's what I said. I said that yesterday. I said the day before. In the newsletter for weeks, I've said exactly the same thing. Talked about Ethereum in the newsletter as well because of liquidity. But whether we are hitting those pools now or not, as you can see, we've got still a little way to go. But there is liquidity between us and these areas. So I don't know whether we get something like this, sweep the lows here, potentially just back test these previous levels here, and then continue and break out, and this is where we get the crazy price action. Or because of the percentages that ETH's gained, and I've not seen anything like this for a long time, is it now that we start to get this breakout? And this is why I've said when we're in this area, I screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed and said, buy crypto because this is your opportunity. If you don't think the top is in, this is the best opportunity you're going to get. Probably the best in terms of risk to reward profiling that we've ever seen in crypto based on time and price. and we've started to get this push out. And if you're on the side, then you fucked it basically. I'm not going to twist my words anymore. Like, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I think you fucked it if you haven't been buying at these levels, because now you're in such a sticky position. Because if we are having this expansion that is potentially are having without getting this correction, where are you going to buy? You're going to have to chase the move up. And that's why these things get super aggressive, because all these people who have been selling in this area are on the sidelines now, and they've got to chase the price higher. And that's how these things get super parabolic. But this area here, there to here, and like these candles here, that's when XRP went really mental, okay? We're not quite there yet. And ETH's taking the lead a little bit now, which is great. We want to see alts outperform, and we want to see Bitcoin go on to set new highs. As you can see, this is the area I drew in. This is where I think alt season is going to really start to kick in. We wicked off it yesterday. I drew this in yesterday's YouTube video or the day before we got the expansion in ETH. And essentially, that's what I'm looking for. I think XRP is looking like it's ready to go on the 3-day and the weekly time frame. The 3 days starting to look extremely bullish here. I would like to see some more volume, but this 3-day close would be great. In this level, there's still 15 hours to go. The weekly time frame looking very similar. Maybe getting that bullish cross for the first time since all the way back at 55 cents for XRP, and the stochastic coming up off the bottom. Now, I'm getting trolled this morning already about XRP versus ETH, yet I literally said in the newsletter last week, if people read the newsletter, that I think ETH's going to do pretty well, yet XRP will outperform for the rest of the cycle. I didn't say that XRP would outperform in the short term. What I did say is, I think ETH has a very good potential of making this move, because where all the liquidity is. Let's see if we can get on the daily. Yeah, all the liquidity for ETH is up here, so I think there's a high chance that ETH comes and flushes this liquidity. Yet the thing is, from where we were there to there, it's only a 120% move. For XRP, that's only like $4.50, and I think XRP is going to go to $10+ this cycle, as I've explained to you on multiple videos. So if you troll me about a 10-20% move on XRP against ETH, fine, but I'm not here to play that game. Do what you want to do, but you're going to get yourself caught on the wrong side of the trade trying to be too clever, in my opinion. XRP ETH has been in this vertical accumulation. I've talked about that. This time we've broken to the downside and lost this trend line of support. We've lost this level of support. Cool, we're breaking down now, and we'll probably find support either where we are now, I would say. Let's show you on the weekly. My two logical areas of support would be here, that we've just entered, and or stronger support probably in this area here where we get a structure break. Oh, God's sake. In here as a more strong support, probably. So they're my two areas of support for XRP ETH. Yet XRP Bitcoin is still looking pretty strong. We talked about this yesterday. What I said was, when we get to this specific area right here, this wick, these areas here, bang, bang, and I circled them all. If you remember on yesterday's video, we normally have a strong reaction, and I'd like to see XRP continue to push up against Bitcoin here. And the same with XRP dominance. All we're basically doing is ranging. Yes, we could touch back into this area of support, but essentially all we're doing is ranging and sweeping the lows of the range again. There's nothing to be trolled about. There's nothing particularly happening here. XRP, ETH BTC is starting to look pretty good. Which ETH needed, because if you look at ETH dominance, it was at the lowest level that it's pretty much ever been. In fact, it swept the lows of the lowest level it had ever been, and took a significant reaction to the upside, which we called out and we talked about in the face of everyone trolling us. Literally, I've nailed this last like few months really, and I'm not scared to say that. Like, we fucking nailed it. I've been buying ETH derivatives, CRV, as you know, and ENA, which are looking pretty exciting. They're not quite, well, CRV's been doing very well. ENA has not quite had the move that we want yet the RSI is cross bullish, and the stochastic's coming out of the oversold area with a weekly engulfing candle at the lows. We've been buying at 30 cents, it's at 37, fantastic. We've been buying CRV between 42 cents and 52 cents, and it's at 78. All public on the channel. So the next thing is where and what happens next, and let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. I'm not 100% sure that Bitcoin dominance is topping here. There's a lot of things that could suggest it is. However, we didn't quite make my area that I wanted us to reach. We were fucking close, but we didn't quite make it. I would have wanted us to go another 0.3% higher to definitely hit the targets that we're talking about, but we didn't quite. So whether the top's in or not, I'm not sure. Is that enough? Maybe, maybe not. If it's not enough, what I think we'll do is trap some longs. I don't think ETH will revisit the lows that we've seen, but Bitcoin could come down to that 84 level, and XRP may, but less likely now because I think it's a bigger move to the downside. And I think what XRP may sweep between $1.80 and $2, but it also may not now. And the reason I say that it may not, and the reason that I'm less leaning towards that, is because of the large moves that ETH's had. 20% in a day, and at the minute 9% in the consecutive day. Although there is normally correction after this at some point, those moves are so aggressive that I'm less leaning towards the fact that we go to revisit the lows. Now, I also did say that I think Bitcoin dominance could go up with the whole of the market going up, where we all rip together, if you go and check out my content. And so there is a chance that Bitcoin dominance increases and alts still outperform, and that's where you're going to see explosive price action, and that's exactly what I would like to see. And then we get the Bitcoin dominance flush out. That's a possibility. If not, one of the things that I've been saying is I think something like this is possible. Where's my bars pattern? If you've been watching my channel, you'll know I think something like this is very possible. I think we could come down from where we are now and come into the 25, 26, 27 region for Bitcoin dominance. That would be the most exciting alt season anyone's ever seen, probably. So that would be, well, from where we are now, actually, I'll measure from there to give you a more accurate reading. It'd be about 58% from where we are now, and just to the range lows is still 38% from where we are now. To give you an idea of like what sort of move this could be, yesterday, or like so far from the top, basically we've had a move of 1.9% and ETH's gone up 32%. So this is where things get really flipping exciting. People move down the risk curve, and alts do significantly better than Bitcoin, and they can happen fast, like they have. This is on the weekly time frame, like they have historically. So the question and the answer of what I think is going on. Do I think it's alt season now? I won't know for sure until Bitcoin breaks the range. I'll be more certain if Bitcoin breaks its range into these price areas above us. I'll be more certain if we start to get the break above what I said, above 104k, and we start to get closes above 104k, between 104 and 112. I think that's when I'll start to get leaning more towards that it's time for alt season and alts to really outperform, based on history and based on what XRP did against Bitcoin. ETH having such a large spike to the upside is very positive, especially percentage-wise. A lot of people have written ETH off. I hadn't done that. Do I think ETH is going to go significantly higher? I think it's going to go to at least $4,200. Potentially, and probably higher than that. Probably sets new all-time highs. Could go anywhere to 8 to 10 to 12,000 potentially. Yet I do still think that XRP outperforms from now till the end of the cycle. But obviously, ETH will have pockets of outperformance of XRP. I don't think people understand the velocity of the move that's going to come for XRP if you see an ETH do 30% in 2 days. I think you've got a lot coming for XRP as well. I think Bitcoin probably continues to 150 to 180,000, and everything that we get over that is just adding to altcoin market caps, as and if we go higher than that for Bitcoin. I've been playing ETH derivatives that I think will outperform ETH. I think XRP does well, and I think whether we're exactly there or not, I'm not sure. I'll give you the potential paths for Bitcoin dominance that could happen. Let me show you three. I got about three different paths I think Bitcoin dominance could take, and three only realistically. Well, four actually. One is it's a fake out and Bitcoin dominance continues and alts bleed against Bitcoin indefinitely, and I think that this is the least likely. I put that as about a 2% possibility. Two is that we come up into somewhere in this 70-ish or towards 70% region, and then we lose Bitcoin dominance and come down to the bottom of the range, and potentially go lower into the areas. I think Bitcoin dominance will lose this low at least at some point this cycle. Three is from this level we continue to come down and set new lows for altcoins and Bitcoin. And four is Bitcoin dominance comes down and loses the 39% and never really recovers as alts start to take the majority of the show with tokenized assets, derivatives, these sorts of things. These three scenarios here, I would give a 98% likelihood of. So at some point, I think that we're going to see a significant outperformance. I think there's a 40% chance that we get the scenario where Bitcoin does go and set a Bitcoin dominance does go and set a higher high, and there's a 60% chance of one of the other two options. So 30% to each of those ish. Obviously, like with the 2% chance that Bitcoin could outperform alts forever. So that's where I think we are. And I say so that gives us a 98% chance that we do lose Bitcoin dominance, and a 60% chance that we come to the bottom of this range. Whether we lose the range lows or not, that's a different story, and that's more speculative for me. And when we get down here, I would say that I'm 60-40 that we lose the range lows this cycle, but that's more speculation on my own personal bias. The rest of it, like I'm 98% chance we at least come down towards the bottom of this range, or very least we revisit this area. But seriously, realistically, we come to the bottom of the range at 38-39%, and I personally believe we go lower than that. So with all those things taken into consideration, the higher Bitcoin goes in terms of price, the higher your altcoins are going to go in terms of price. A lot of people are sitting on the wrong side of the trade right now. ETH spiked 30% in 2 days. People are going to be thinking, shit, I've missed the bottom. This is what makes things really propelled to the upside. A lot of people are caught offside here. It's an interesting time to say the least. And with that, I'm just going to leave you there because I don't have too much to say to you, because we've just got to let price action play out for the next few days and then reassess, essentially. I think whatever you think, this move's definitely positive. It's just how positive and how fast the things start to go here. I've seen speculation and talk of Bitcoin going to 150,000 by the end of the month by people like Arthur Hayes. If something like that happens, you're going to have to strap in. And this is why I've been saying to buy, because when things start to accelerate, you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of that trade. But then this is the hard part now. If you are on the wrong side of that trade, do you jump in now or do you wait for a pullback? And I had a call from someone this morning I respect very highly, who said, do I add extra leverage here or not? And I essentially said, I think the best thing to do is just sit on your hands. If you get the pullback, add. And if you don't, just be happy with what you've got, because you can get yourself hurt trying to like really play these games right now. XRP, but my takeaways from this is Bitcoin's going to go over 150,000, probably towards 180. If it goes higher, fantastic. ETH goes to all-time highs, anywhere between all-time highs and 10k, and I have no idea, 10 to 12k, I have no idea if it goes as high as that or not. I really don't know, and it's not my focus. XRP to outperform both Bitcoin and ETH for the rest of the cycle, whenever that cycle top may come in. XRP to go to at least $10 plus, and above that is probably most realistically between 12 and 15, and above that is dependent on what Bitcoin and ETH will probably do. It could go anywhere up to 20s. And that's my key takeaways from this. And from that, you can kind of use that as a base case for what you think might happen to the rest of the altcoins. But I do want to say, guys, enjoy it, because if we start to see some green candles and it happens fast, stick to your take profit plans, but do enjoy it, because we spent a lot of time in the hurt and it's not nice, it's not easy. No matter what anyone says, it's a stressful environment, especially when you've got a lot of money on the line. It means a lot to you. So definitely take some money off the table if and when we get these moves, but also enjoy the ride. And if you hear people bitching, oh, this coin's doing better than that coin, just fucking ignore it. Ignore it. It doesn't matter. Like, your coin is probably going to do pretty well if we have the alt season, like the Bitcoin dominance comes to where I think it's going to go. your coin probably does pretty well. And if you're an XRP holder, look, I'm in your boat. Like, I'm not saying that I'm definitely right. I don't know the future. Just know that I just know the past, and I've been here before. So I can only play the cards that I've got, and I think XRP is going to do very well this cycle. And just strap in and enjoy the ride, man. Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.